Hey friends, it's Maria, Carmen, and Dan. This time we are back and we want to thank you all just for having patience with us. I think the big lesson for us of the day was don't try to do a Zoom call with the IT department is at Mega Camp. So lesson learned, we won't do that again, but we just thought it would probably be a better idea anyway to record this session and set it out to you. You all have asked some great questions and I think we're prepared to sit down and hammer those out today. So thank you. And thank you again, Kelly Court, for the wonderful new camera that sits on the computer here. But we didn't even need an IT department now. But anyway, we just wanted to jump in and hit as many of your questions as possible. And now the first thing I wanted to say, and Dan, you can elaborate, but I just wanted to first encourage and thank all the admin that are sitting on this call. We had about half the audience was admin. And so I really want to just applaud all you team leaders who got your admin on the call and all you admin who are sitting and ready to level up your game, right? And do an even more awesome job than what you're doing now. And hopefully this call will just kind of inspire you to think a little bit further, reach a little bit more, and do more of what you're already doing. So with that, I will share with the admin, if in case you didn't already know, or your admin maybe that are going to come along in the future. One of the things I want to share with you is that you are working for the top 0.5% of all lenders and real estate agents in the country. And so that should make you feel very confident in the chair that you're sitting in right now, because I will share with you out of experience, I know that our friends across Buffini land, the people that are on this call, have invested tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in their ongoing education, in getting better, in improving, trying to just untap their own potential and making their business everything it can be, which is why you're here, by the way. And you need to know that about the people that you're working for. They are a bunch of rock stars out there. And I think I just felt compelled to share that with you. And I don't know, Dan, you want to jump in? And
don't get me started. I'm going to, first of all, apologize for the term admin. I would use the term team players, role models, participants, trusted leaders within your organization. An admin is really, in our case, the admin, especially the admin on this call, Carmen, is someone who we cannot do business without. And that is the ultimate compliment. And that's where we all want to get to. So the purpose of this call is to take the things that Brian Buffini has taught us, the things that my wife, Maria, has taught me, the experiences that we've had on how to create great team leaders, which is a good admin. And that's what this whole goal is apart. So this is the time to learn how to become irreplaceable.
right.
And it's an exciting time to be talking about what an admin is, because an admin is a partner and we can't do business without great partners. And Carmen, who's sitting in this call, is a wonderful example of that. And we couldn't be in business without her. So there you go. That's my 2 cents.
Right. And the bottom line is, right, like our support staff, our team members, they are such a critical part of the process. The agent, the lender, they can only do so much, right? They've got to ultimately deliver and consummate a great sales experience. But beyond that, they kind of have to get on to the next thing, right? So we count on our support staff to take everything up a notch, right? And put the heat on and really culminate everything and create that ultimate client experience. And I think without our support, there's no way we could do it on our own. So with that in mind, we want to introduce Carmen. Carmen Scott, who happens to be our relationship director. Now, Carmen has been with us 7 or 8 years. Did we decide what it was? A long time. And when we hired Carmen, we didn't have, that role didn't exist, right? So what we did, we went after talent. Carmen became available. And because obviously we are sisters, okay? So we'll get that out of the way. But because she was my sister, I did have some idea of her talents. And so when it came time to hire, we wanted to bring her on. And what Carmen did, she created her own role because of her talents. And I guess that's the first thing that I want to just encourage everybody. First of all, team leaders is always be looking for talent. Like we always have to be looking for talent, right? And even as many processes or structures that we could put in place, one of the things I always say is when you can leave some wiggle room for talent to fill the position, they can often make things a lot better than what you envision. So leave yourself a little room as you bring on people. And I just want to talk about Carmen's talents for a minute. So Carmen, why don't you tell everybody what you do in your role and how you've really enhanced from, where we started 7 years ago and what you're doing now.
So what I do in my role is I kind of close up the circle of the transaction, right? So like Maria said, the agent cultivates the relationship and gets everything going. And I make sure that once that transaction is closed, that the relationship is still growing. And kind of starting back though, like when you first start with your company, you want to know their philosophy, their motto. And like Maria said, they've already spent oodles of dollars training. You just want to grow that. And so it's really like you're an advantage because you have all of this awesome training behind you and you're there to support your agents, your leaders, everyone that, you're there to help close up the circle. So that's what I do. I build the relationship a little bit stronger. And
talk a little bit about how you do that, because you didn't, we had a role, we started shaping a role and defining like responsibilities once you came on, but how did that start and where did that?
Well, it's because I like to visit with people. So I'm a people person. I love to talk. It's easy for me to ask people their business. And so with all of that, it's easy to build a relationship with someone. So after, as you go along and you make the phone calls and you do the pop buys and you build the relationship, you're creating a friendship with with you and the client yourself, but ultimately you're representing the company. So for me, it was very easy because I love all of those things.
So what motivates you then beyond that? Because you have a job, right? Like you come to work every day, you probably work harder than anybody on the team, but like, what is the motivation for you? Because I think I've seen it play out differently for everybody on the team, but what would you say is your motivating factors?
My motivation is really making people happy is my motivation. I come into the office, I make sure that, everyone says good morning to me. I say good morning to everyone. If there's something that I could provide for them, I do it just because I like to make other people's lives a little bit easier and make them be happy. So again, goes back to the pop buys, the notes, the phone calls, is to make people happy. I always call them and make them happy. But one of the reasons is if you haven't read the book, The Power of Moment, You need to read it because it talks about, one part of it talks about providing service on a silver platter. Well, who doesn't like a silver platter? I love silver. I love sparkling. I like to sparkle. But that just helps you turn it up a notch and you just go the extra mile, even if it's a bow on a pot pie. Like, there are a lot of different ways to put things on a silver platter. And so that's kind of one of the things that I look for every day is, what's my silver platter going to be today?
Dan, I know you probably have something to add to that because you see this played out every day.
Yeah, again, I really can't say it better than Carmen, who lives it, but embellishing lots of these points are really simply making everyone that our administrative assistant, our relationship manager, make everyone's life better. And that's a very key role because she can do it internally within the own corporation, making my life better, my wife's life better, and our teams better, but also she's really good at making the people around us better, the clients, the new babies, the people that have just moved in, the people that need to be affirmed of the decision they just made about buying or selling a house. And so she makes their lives better, and she's intentional about it, like really intentional about doing something unexpected that makes someone's day. Okay. I've seen her at meetings and events and take, 2 babies in both arms and carrying 2 babies because she's just a nurturer, and she's just like you are, Maria. You're both nurturers and just good at it. And she just takes the pressure off of people that are coming into a social situation, don't know us, and she just calms everybody down. She just makes us able to communicate because she calms people down. So a good partner calms people down inside the team and outside the team. And that is a special gift that both these girls have. And it's something that I don't possess. Okay. So she makes us better. So that is a huge one to make the entire circle better.
So one of the things I think that is really interesting is because we've always challenged our staff to take the Buffini system, which we talk about constantly, right? You know that the communication, the deeper we can get with communication, the better it is for the client engagement experience and the better it is for the overall transaction. And then afterward, it just creates a happier client. So one of the things we've always encouraged our other team members is to take this system, take the Buffini system and incorporate it into their jobs, right? So Carmen has her level of, Carmen's usually catching butterflies. And by that, I mean, all day she's got this big net and she's catching messages from Dan. She's catching messages from me. She's catching, Facebook posts. She's catching everything from the other agents and anybody who realizes, hey, we've got a need in our database or we've got to respond somehow. Carmen's like catching all that information and she makes sure that it's responded to appropriately. And then, but our other admin staff, like our transaction coordinator and our listing manager, they have their own methods within their job roles in deepening relationships, right? So we've got a transaction coordinator who will send a video before when she takes a file over, when somebody goes under contract, and explains to them her role in the process. So it's her explaining the role and her responsibility to the role, which is to make clients so happy that by the end of this sale, they're going to refer, their friends and family. She writes notes, right, to the client. Hey, looking forward to working with you. So it's not just the agent, right? Again, it's that layering. How can you layer your personality, whatever it is that you're naturally gifted at, into your role? Our listing coordinator, she always takes pop-bys with her when she's there to take pictures, when she brings up a listing, right? It's to write a note and it was great to meet you and I'm confident the home's going to get sold and that type of thing. So everybody in the process should be able, what is that? I can't see
I
that.
can't read it, and I'm sorry the camera sucks, but that is
Go
a
ahead
note,
and read
that
it.
is a note that Carmen wrote the other day to a closing, and she writes a note better than I do. Congratulations on the purchase of your new home. We want to thank you for putting your trust in us during this very important time. We hope that we have proven our case competency. I'm sorry. We hope that we have proven our care, competency, and you can become raving fans for Group Odell. We'd love to be honored to handle all of your referrals. All the best as you settle in your new home, Carmen. So I can't make this stuff up. Okay. It's better written than I would write it. It's sincere. Of course, she shows up, she closes the loop, and then she opens a door for the potential for referrals. Now, sometimes it's stressful during the transaction. So Carmen is that little butterfly that calms everybody down so that we can talk about referrals, because sometimes the home selling is not fun. It's just not perfect. And Carmen understands that. She knows the dynamic. She knows the reason. She knows who her customer is. She asks questions, and then she comes in and she moves us forward and stabilizes. She makes all of us better. And so those of you that are looking for tips on your partners, find someone who can just not answer the phone or do some process, but that has the potential to make us all better. So Carmen
and
is
solve problems, right? And that comes over time. Like, I get that. I'll give you an example. Carmen, everybody got sent one way to the wind. One morning we had a closing. And so we had, it was a seller closing, and here in the Midwest, it's like 5 minutes. He goes down, signs his papers, and he's out of there. But of course, we're always compelled to be with our clients during that process. And Carmen was the only one available. So she went down and met the client at the title company. And he went in there guns a-blazing because he was not happy because of his sale that was taking place in another state. And he just realized from his agent there, like, what didn't happen, right? Signing and that type of thing. Carmen walks into a situation which is not her typical situation at all, but we've got a great relationship with our title company, and they're very responsive to us. Carmen immediately took note, and she knew enough to say, hey, if all you needed was a notary to get that thing closed, like Kristen, our title company, she's looking at, you guys can notarize this for him, right? Like, he had the documents in his hand and he's like, I'm not going to be able to get this done and send it back by whenever. And of course, it was just a matter of asking, and then the situation was immediately de-escalated, and that guy left like happy again. He had no idea. Of course, he was venting because he was frustrated. He didn't know how to solve his problem. And yet Carmen came in and solved the problem. And so this is another thing I just want to encourage you all to. This is something we really always are encouraging our staff to do, is just go ahead and take care of people, right? Make a decision. Like, if Kristen wouldn't have done that, or Kristen would have said, we'll do it, but it's going to cost $50. Like, I'm confident Carmen would have said, that's fine, we'll take care of that. Like, she knows when it comes to those decisions, like, she can make those. And we always tell our people, we will back you up in your decisions, right? Now, if it's the wrong decision, we'll have a conversation about that later offline, but don't be afraid to make a decision. And so I just want to encourage you team leaders too, is to be thinking in terms of letting your people grow into their roles, right? And one of the things Carmen and all our staff does beautifully is they're always thinking for us. They're always thinking 2 steps ahead of us. And you often are telling agents, hey, you need to pay attention to this person because they made this comment to me and that could lead to XYZ. And really, you're never wrong about that. So why don't you talk a little bit about how you listen and how you react?
So maybe listening is, well, I wouldn't say it's one of my gifts because I had to work really hard to let somebody say something without me getting into the conversation. So, but listening is very important because of that reason. People are apt to tell you because you're not the agent. Like they're just talking to you because you came to the door, you brought them a gift, and so now I'm going to tell
Or
you.
you picked up the
Or,
phone
yeah.
and called them and checked in,
And
right? Or you
so,
wrote the note.
right. And so they're going to tell you, you know, and so then that's my job when I say, I hear you. I hear what you're telling me. I'm not the best person that can take care of this problem, but I can help you get there. And so I can tell the agent, you know, what you just told me, or if it's something that they're, you know, need a vendor or whatever, I can help them do that. But then at the same time, tell the agent, I gave this person a vendor or whatever, because here's their plan. You might want to check up on them next week, a couple of weeks from now, whatever. And then again, you're helping build the relationship between the client and everyone in your group. So,
Right. I mean, you know, and that goes kind of reminds me, the one of the questions that somebody asked was, how does Carmen, how does the admin free up your time? And for me, and I know for Dan, it's really being effective. Being effective in your role is the way, like, our time is freed up because I don't have time to micromanage, and neither does Dan. And it keeps us, you know, away from doing that or having to do it. But, you know, we go back again at the beginning, the setting of expectations, clarifying the role, you know, and I think this is where team leads have to take a lot of responsibility. And I get a lot of questions about, like, how do you let this go, or when do you take this back, or, you know, things along that line. And for me, it's all about setting clear, upfront expectations and job responsibilities, and explaining the big picture of why you are doing this task. And everybody knows, like, this is open for conversation. This is open for you to change it to something even better. Like, this is where we're starting right now, but hopefully you're going to make this role better by changing it, right? So we talk about, like, those things that are set in stone, those things that have to be done a certain way, and why they have to be done that way. And then we let the team member make it better. Dan, do you want to add anything to that?
I'm trying to give context for the people that are listening, like setting expectations. What is job description? So what are the initial things that Carmen was initially expected to do? And because because she's probably the best in the country at what she does, but she just lowers everyone's blood pressure. She starts and ends events and days better than I could start or end myself. She's an extension of our culture and our philosophy. Okay. And that's both of them. I mean, basically they're interchangeable as far as their ability to care. But when I step in the room, the bull in the china shop, everything's already calm. Okay. Things are set up. Everyone's ready to just relax, and then we could do our thing, and then she can close it by just a smile and just a thank you. And so she's taking the things that calls, notes, and Popeyes, and she's elevated those simple things to a level that she does them better than I could do them myself. Okay. Doesn't mean I don't do Popeyes. Doesn't mean I don't write notes. But when she does something, she enhances our culture. She just makes everything better. And nobody had that expectation when she took the job. She just adopted our culture and made it better and better for all, not just for me, not just for Maria, but for our entire team, our entire community. And now she has all kinds of people just, how do you do what you do so well and bring a smile to everybody's face. Now we're talking about a huge shop here, 300 units a year, 600 families a year. It's like it's like chaos. And she just has a way of just managing all these important things to enhance our culture and move us forward for the potential to get referrals. And it's crazy good. It's crazy good.
Yeah, and so we got a couple of related questions that I'll just talk about briefly, and they were like, what are your recommendations for keeping notes about admin and transaction process? As far as the training of that, and does Carmen follow the Buffini systems intake process for new leads? And they're like, those are the critical points, right? So we've got agents running all over East Jesus selling houses, and we've got a support staff that tries to stay very focused on the internal systems and make sure that they're capturing all the relevant information, that they're just doing a good job in notating our CRM. So they do a better job of that probably than our agents do. And so they've got full, they got all the responsibility to just go ahead and take a handle on those systems and use them and make them all, make them as good as they can be. And so as far as the intake process for new leads, what that looks like in our shop is that we're kind of double teamed on that. We get intake forms at the same time. So Carmen, most of the time will respond to those because she can do it quicker. So it's all about response. So it's like who could get to it quicker. And that's kind of how we monitor that. It's like she knows, like, if I can't get to it, she's gonna call somebody immediately. But that's always our first priority, is responding to new clients, to referrals, obviously. And that intake process, we have a full intake process that Carmen's fully aware of, and make sure that everything gets documented, everything gets in our CRM, make sure that referrals are noted and that they're responded to, and the whole bit. And if there's a relocation company involved, that they're responded to as well. So it's very comprehensive, and we just make sure that she's got all the tools that she needs to get that done. Do you want to say anything more about that? Like your process, even for responding to, babies, new babies, and whatever. Like,
again, it's about responsiveness and being the go-to person, being the point person. Agents come in a lot and say, hey, my friend just had a baby, can you get that done? And so it's just,
we do the same thing all the time.
We do the same gift. And so I have my little shop here, and I grab what I need. It's a boy, a girl, I take it, get it embroidered, whatever. Once it comes back, then I get it delivered. But it is about always taking care of the client. And I'm always in the office. And so I think that's kind of a benefit, because I'll get that being able to see the brand new agents that aren't really used to the Buffini style yet. And so I can kind of push them and kick them that way. And so then they understand more what my role is. And so it makes them easier to be able to communicate with me and tell me what's going on, as opposed to them just thinking I'm the nosy lady in the office that wants to know all their business.
But simplifying that process is like making it as much the same and keeping it consistent is really key to speed. Right. So you're not reinventing the wheel every time. Having those things ready to go is like really important. That everybody knows where birthday cards are, right? Everybody knows where the gift cards are. Like, we can respond quickly because we're ready. So yeah, I think that's real important.
If I could add one thing, in this reality of what a good partner does, a good administrative assistant does, is it increases the rainmaker's capacity. Okay, so the things that are that we don't do, like a gift or a condolence or sympathy card or flowers or whatever, we have to do those things as a practice, as a caring team. But if we can defer those to Carmen, number one, we know it gets done. Number two, it'll be done better than we could do it ourselves. And number three, it allows me to continue creating more capacity because it just frees me up to do other things. And that is what a good definition of an administrative partner is it frees up the rainmakers for more capacity. Does that make sense? What are you giggling about? What's so funny?
Yeah, that's, no, you were
You
frozen
froze.
for a second, but
I was born
it
frozen.
was cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, like just what Dan was saying, or condolence cards to be pulled. It's more, hey, just pull this and put it on my desk so I don't forget to do it, or send it out, right? Whatever needs to happen. Like Carmen is there to catch those responses and make sure that we are responding appropriately. So someone asked, do you or the team as a whole or the lead agent sort and qualify the database quarterly, monthly? How does that work? Now, I would say that we probably do things a little bit differently on our teams than some teams, but we're kind of a sizable team, right? We've got 14 people on our team, 7 of which are salespeople. So we encourage our salespeople to have their own databases, and we encourage them to get to at least 100. We have maybe 1 or 2 agents there, but the other ones are working towards there. So we leave it to them to categorize their own database because obviously I don't know who their people are. But as far as like the main part of the database really is an Odell database, right? We've been at this, like Dan said, 27 years. We got 2,000 people in our database, people that, I mean, we literally have been selling, you know, close to 300 homes or over 300 homes for the last 10 years. So that just tells you how many people we're dealing with constantly. But the main part of our database, I qualify it once a year. So I'll go through, every bit of 1,500 names and make sure that our A's are still really A's, that our B's are, still responding, or we're still having some kind of communication with them. And I don't honestly worry about the C's because I know as long as we are at least sending a newsletter or we're sending a mailing, and we do, because for us, it's just as easy to send 2,000 postcards than it is to send 300 mailings, to be quite honest. There's no difference in the amount of work. Like, actually, it's much easier to send 2,000 postcards. So we think that's important because those people come back to us. And so at this point, we just want people to know we're still here. And that's what we do on a yearly basis. Dan, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Well, and then just to back that up, so she checks it once a year and I'm in there every day. So you think about it, how many thousands of people are there? And so some of those C's do come to surface and they call, because we're still communicating with them, we're still calling them. And so then they'll change, if they come back, okay, they're going to be a B now, they referred or whatever. So then I manipulate them during the year, as then Maria
and
checks
our
on them.
A's,
And then,
right?
Yeah,
like those
right.
are the people that
So-
happens daily. People
Right.
are calling with the referral, and hey, guess what? They're not a B anymore, they're an A.
Right.
And we do throughout the year, we'll send special things to our A's. So we want to make sure that we change them like immediately, whether the referral pans out or not, because for us, it's a bonus if they're of that mind.
Right.
Well said.
Actually, I don't know. I think those are about all the questions that we have.
I've got a couple of
And
questions.
mhm.
All right, so Carmen, if you were going to train or take a team leader and say, what are the qualities that a good administrative assistant should look for? What would they be in just a snappy answer? What would you say to someone who says, Carmen, we're going to hire somebody? What would be a couple of the attributes I'd be looking for?
Attributes that you're looking for, somebody that's going to follow your philosophy, somebody that's going to live up to your motto. Like, have them read your motto. Can they do that? Like, not everybody is built, to help somebody's business grow. Like, for me, that's my role. That's my goal, right? I want to see how much I can make a difference, how much I can make a change. So that's
And you know what? That's probably one thing that is probably harder for team leads to talk about with their staff, because it's hard to talk about why people should, or sometimes it's hard to just articulate your passion, right? And I think we have to really get people excited about following passion.
That's
Right.
why it's really important that sometimes for those of you that are team leaders is to find your administrative assistants with people under your own nose who already know your culture and your philosophy. Okay. We're hiring for other positions now. And we've got resumes coming in from all over the country. And it's like, but the people that are most likely to get the job are people that already know us and know how we operate, or ex customers or vendors or partners or whatever, because they understand our culture. Okay. Again, this job is not about X's and O's. Any administrative assistant can be irreplaceable, which is what we're trying to accomplish. Okay. And that is like, I want you to push paper, or do these mailings, or do these events. No, I want you to enhance the culture of this company by doing these events so well that I can't ever work without you. And again, that's sometimes it's just not a resume. They've got to know about your heart and your character, or they'll just, you're right. It's different, Carmen, than just pushing paper. It's a philosophical commitment, and with the right chemistry, it can be magic. With the wrong chemistry, it can just be not great, just not great. And you're the opposite. You're excellent. And yeah. So what other question I have is, what would be the top 3 things you do? What are the top 3 actual tasks you do on a daily basis or in a weekly basis? The top 5, just the specific things that you do that help us all get better.
I stay in communication with the agents on a daily, because their world changes daily. And so I'm kind of their pusher, if you want to call it that. Like, the new guys, I kind of push them in the Buffini direction and let them know, this is going to maybe not give you instant results, but you're going to get results. The old guys, I kind of push them to remember the fundamentals, and, so that I can be there to help them shine a little bit better. And every day, like I said, I go through the database. Every day there's something to do in the database. And then I have my tasks that come up in our CRM, that tell me who I need to contact, who I need to phone call, who I need to visit, whose birthday it is. And then I just reflect back on my notes from past visits. I'll put things in my calendar, like to check up on somebody on their baby. Like, I know they're pregnant, but I'm not sure when they're due. So I'll follow up and just say, oh, how are you feeling? And when's the baby due? Oh, we had it yesterday. So,
but that's initiative, right? That's initiative. And I think one of the things all our staff does really well is understanding that their first client is our agents on our team, and it's each other. And when we serve each other, right? We could go out and serve people better. But Carmen is really, really amazing at that, and just making sure that everybody's cared for first on the team. And then everybody out there.
Yep. I think that's great. I don't know what else there is to say other than create irreplaceable teammates. So you create irreplaceable clients. Okay, so
And I
that's
will just close by saying this. So it's funny because you had just mentioned this, but Carmen is going to be leaving us at the end of the year because she's going to become a grandma to twins. And so she's going to be fulfilling a lifelong dream. And we're hiring for her job right now. So it's been interesting because, as Dan said, we've only talked, like, I haven't even put it out in the real world yet. And we're getting applications from people that are well aware of the Group Odell model because they've experienced it. And it's kind of interesting to see what people's perceptions of the job are, and just seeing, really the responses. So just remember, every time you come into the office, you are carrying the banner, and nobody, well, I mean, your agent might say that they're going to carry out they're going to carry it out probably better than you are, but I would just beg to differ. I think you have the opportunity to really be the catalyst of something like awesome, because I think nothing's more perfect than when an admin steps up and says, I'll do it, and let me do it better. And here's my thoughts in making it better. And let me just give me the bumper rails and let me go. And I think team leads are best served when they have people like that on the bus. And I just want to say, I hope you all, like, all the success with that. And we're here if you ever want to see job descriptions, you want to see the list of characteristics and traits that we look for in certain roles, whatever that is, like, we're glad to share that with you. And we're just standing by to be a resource for you.
And for all you admin out there, you can call me whenever. I'll answer all of your questions. And but really, conquer your fears. Do what fears you, so then you have no fears anymore. And once you conquer that, you're golden. And it's fun. Every day is a fun, happy day.
And that's the best we've got for you guys from Kansas City. So again, if there's anything we can do for any of you out there, we're here to serve you and your referrals in Kansas City, and we'll find it an honor and a pleasure to do so. So with that, peace.
Go Chiefs.